Hello, welcome back to the Blue Moon Nursery Smurfs fanfiction torture porn story. Yeah, it's been a little while since I made part 1. This is part 2. But I made part 1 about like 2 years ago or something. But a couple of you have actually been asking for part 2. And the thing is, I did record part 2 back in the day. I recorded part 1 and 2 at the same time, edited one, couldn't be bothered to edit part 2 at the same at that same time. Just never ended up doing it. Since then I've lost that video recording, and annoyingly, as you can see here, the Blue Moon Nursery story has been taken off the website. It just brings me out to this "an issue may have occurred" screen, and that is annoying. That's really annoying because I liked the website. In my original recording of part 2, I don't really remember the story, but I remember seeing some of the people who commented back in the day were still active on the website 10 years later or whatever, and it was really cool. But yeah, I lost that video, and we can't really explore the website, so I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to record over this guy Deadwing Dork's video of him reading this story. I really thought I had a monopoly on the Smurf fanfiction YouTube scene, but apparently this guy did it first before even me. I didn't realize. You've probably seen that if you're watching this though. But yeah, I haven't watched this guy's video, so don't worry. I've not been spoiled. Basically, I did do part 2 2 years ago, but I don't remember what happened. I just remember that the community is still active. That's basically it. But anyway, yeah, sorry, Deadwing Dork. I tried the Wayback Machine, but I couldn't really get what I wanted. I did find this an index thing. It does have all the images. It has the guy's avatar. It has this. I think I found all the images, the original images, but I can't look at them without spoilers, and I can't find the actual story, so I'm going to be watching a muted version of this guy's video. With all that out of the way, Baby's bare bottom. One day, Blueberry, my adopted baby Smurf, was playing outside in a new set of Smurf hat and pajamas I had bought him. While he was climbing on a toy mushroom I had made from Sculpey, suddenly one of the pajama bottoms popped off. The tiny creature stared around in bewilderment, feeling exposed below his soft round little tail, but not quite able to figure out why, let alone why I was laughing aloud. Oh, your arse is out. Sassette, nice pictures, and I love the name Blueberry, perfect. Now it's time for a very sentimental chapter. I got the idea for this after watching the Once in a Blue Moon episode, one of my favourites. For this story, I wanted to emphasise how magical and sacred a baby Smurf's heart is, thereby making the tiny blue infants all the more precious. I guess this guy doesn't click on the link. Can someone, if anyone has the website, can you please send me it? Because I would love to look at this on the website if someone has that. Probably not, but Blueberry's first miracle. Today I met the caretaker from the Blue Moon Nursery while taking a walk in the small town's park. Blueberry was sleeping peacefully in a little sling I'd made to carry him in. The woman also had a baby Smurf, a female with her that she carried in a miniature wicker basket. The little Smurf was dressed in lavender pajamas and glanced out at me shyly from behind the protection of her blanket as the lady told me her baby Smurf's story. Her name was Dewdrop. Dewdrop was rescued in a raid on a warehouse used by exotic pet smugglers. She had been found in a pile of filthy paint-soaked rags. She had bruises all over her tiny body, limbs, and even her tail, as if someone had been deliberately pinching her delicate blue skin. During her captivity, in lieu of Smurf berries, someone attempted to feed the poor little creature a salty cashew, nearly choking her. It took 3 weeks before Dewdrop wouldn't scream in terror at the sight of a human face upon waking up from a nap. Though she was now trusting to her adoptive human mother, lonely Dewdrop never played or otherwise interacted with the other wee little Smurf babies at the nursery. Apparently there were bruises on the inside that had never healed. As the lady finished her story, Blueberry woke up and started squeaking and waving his tiny outstretched arms in the other baby's direction. The lady decided once again to try to socialize her wary little Smurf and let me carefully place Blueberry into the basket beside her. Both baby Smurfs eyed each other, and then we saw something that defied explanation. From under the blanket, we could see a pulsating, heart-shaped glow emanating over Blueberry's chest. Within seconds, a similar glow appeared over where Dewdrop's heart would be. At first, they pulsed at different times, but eventually they synchronized and beat as one. Dewdrop smiled and squealed with joy, kicking her tiny feet under the blanket with excitement. Blueberry was similarly elated, and both baby Smurfs wriggled with glee in the cozy basket, grinning and laughing together. When the glowing hearts finally faded, we picked up our respective Smurfs, trying to discern the source of this miracle, but gave it up. Blueberry and Dewdrop were both set down and allowed to frolic in the grass. They squealed and giggled, crawling after each other and playfully grabbing and squeezing each other's plump little blue tail. We wondered if this was the last of the miracles of having a baby Smurf to keep in love. I bet it's not. And then we can see here a picture of that. It's quite a good picture, quite a nice picture. Lovely chapter Smurf in hand, very cute, blah blah blah. Oh. Is that like... Oh, it's not like inside of her body. I thought it was like... Okay. Dewdrop's human mother and I eventually began to take turns baby Smurf sitting for each other. This afternoon I watched as Blueberry and Dewdrop decided to crawl into the old sock that I'd used for Blueberry's sleeping bag. They got thoroughly lost within its dark confines, squeaking and giggling as they squirmed about. Eventually, I saw Blueberry poke his head out of the opening. A few seconds later, Dewdrop's rear end was tentatively backing out as well. She simply wasn't as experienced with playing inside socks as Blueberry was, and had lost her bearings. I reached out and poked the tiny creature's exposed round little tail. Startled, it darted entirely back into the sock. Blueberry turned around and with a delighted squeal, crawled after her. This is super cute! Mariana name, Mary... I don't know. But yeah, everyone thinks this is cute. Everyone likes it so far. This chapter would take place just before the Blueberry's first miracle one. The Raid. Oh, okay, so this is like Dewdrop's backstory. Cool. Now let's just let this guy scroll down a bit more. The Raid. The day that Dewdrop the baby Smurf had been rescued is recounted in the journal of one of the customs agents who broke into the smuggler's warehouse. Upon gaining access to the warehouse, it became readily apparent that the smugglers were forewarned and had likely abandoned this base of operations in the middle of the night. There were various partially empty bags of animal feed piled in one corner, as well as a couple of empty cages. A metal desk drawer opened to reveal an empty ampule of animal tranquilizer. We were going to tape the area off for later inspection when a faint noise drew my attention. Inside a wastebasket, lying on top of a pile of dirty rags, was what appeared to be a tiny blue humanoid creature's head. I thought back to a recent training seminar and wondered if what I was looking at was the seldom seen Smurf. Remembering that these sentient Lilliputians could speak, I was about to address it, but I realized at a second glance that this was an infant of the species, a baby Smurf. What my daughter wouldn't give to be here right now. She actually made me take photos of baby Smurfs from last year's National Geographic and blow them up to a poster size for her room. She even had the official life-size, which wasn't very big at all, baby Smurf soft vinyl doll. The proceeds of his purchase going to the preservation of the Smurfs' habitat worldwide. The baby Smurf before me wasn't in good shape, however. The noise I had heard had been its hoarse crying and sobbing. Looking up at me, the creature was visibly terrified. The diminutive blue being's body had been tightly wrapped in rough, sisal twine from chin to toe. The wee little infant strained futilely against its bonds, rocking back and forth between sobs. I picked the creature up, noting by the colour of its trademark little hat that I was probably looking at the very rare, except for baby Smurfs, female of the species. The bewildered thing's face was a mask of terror as I scrutinised it with fascination. The other agents had, by now, gathered around, and there was nowhere the panicking baby Smurf could turn without seeing a human face. I started to unwrap the twine, and when I'd finished, the poor little creature was naked except for its little hat. Oh! Oh no. Okay. I had guessed right about the baby Smurf's sex. I thought because it was blurred out, it was like pussy or something. The tight, rough sisal twine had gouged into the Smurf's tender blue skin, leaving its impression deep in the flesh. Jesus Christ. The creature also exhibited signs of abuse. Oh no. Minuscule bruises everywhere, including on the unusual round little tail. He's obsessed with the tail, this guy. I gave the tail the curious gentle squeeze as the little blue biped squirmed in my grasp, eliciting a frantic yelp of pain. Its pitiable appendage was still sore from being pinched by whomever the Smurf's former tormentors had been. Its tail also exhibited the telltale puncture mark of a syringe. Oh jeez. Has it been drugged? The smugglers didn't seem to have considered this baby Smurf of any value when they had fled, which explained the rough treatment and general disregard for its welfare. It would take a couple of days to process the creature. After that, my department would alert the Blue Moon Nursery. This little blue creature may not realize it yet, but things were going to change for the better. Its village was likely gone by now, so life among philanthropic humans would be in its best interest. Alright, let's look at this image down here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god. Yeah, this guy. Okay. Okay, next page. Saturday was once again my turn to babysit Dewdrop. It was raining, so I decided to keep her and Blueberry indoors. I had filled a plastic cat's litter box half full of cornmeal and set the two diminutive blue infants inside. He loves the word diminutive, whatever. Diminutive, right? He loves the word diminutive. I said it like 3 times in this story already. The minute creatures were initially bewildered by the way their tiny hands and knees would sink slightly into the cornmeal whenever they attempted to crawl about. Eventually, though, they became accustomed to this unusual environment and were soon romping through the ground meal, squealing with glee as they flung tiny handfuls of the coarse yellow granules outside the litter box and onto the floor. Goddamn Smurfs. Later that day, my attention was drawn back to the improvised playpen when I heard one of the baby Smurfs begin to cry. As I went over to investigate, I smelled rather than saw what was the matter. Oh god. Dewdrop needed a diaper change. Probably a bath as well. This guy's loving it, man. I plucked Dewdrop out of the playpen and, peeling off her lavender pajamas, discovered the offending diaper. I unfastened the safety pin as she twisted in my grasp. Only when I'd removed the soiled bit of cloth from her did she cease her snivelling. Blueberry stared questioningly up at me, wondering why I'd taken away his playmate. "I'll put her back in one piece, Blueberry," I assured him with a grin. I carried Dewdrop with me into the bathroom. The The frisky little creature's tail was all a-quiver with excitement as I held her tiny finger under a stream of warm water from the bathroom sink. Dewdrop emitted tiny squeaks of enjoyment as the hypoallergenic vegan soap covered her delicate blue skin with fragrant suds. She giggled as she waved her arms, trying to pop some of the bubbles floating in the air about her with tiny blue fingers. When it came to wash Dewdrop's little face, the poor thing started bawling and squirming hysterically when I inadvertently got soap in her eyes. There simply wasn't anything such as a no tears formula when it came to baby Smurfs. So sensitive were their tiny little eyes. Oh god. She tried frantically to rub her stinging peepers with tiny balled fists. Oh Jesus Christ, so I pinned her hands behind her back? Why, man? And held her face down under the faucet to rinse the soap off. I mean, maybe that's helping her, maybe she was making it worse. I drenched her little Smurf hat in the process, but at least I'd learned from experience with rinsing Blueberry this way that the baby Smurf wouldn't accidentally inhale any water and choke. Oh, thank God, thank God. I thought he was killing it. I thought he was like forcing the eyes to sting. It seemed that all baby Smurfs were very insecure without their hats on at all times. Eventually the little creature's sobbing subsided as I finished rinsing all the suds off of its blue skin. After I used a washcloth to dry the baby Smurf, I comforted her with a gentle squeeze of the little Smurf's soft tail between my thumb and forefinger. You see, Dewdrop? You're okay, and all nice and squeaky clean, I exclaimed, giving one of her tiny hands a reassuring squeeze, as well as the baby Smurf sat in the palm of my hand and gazed up at me. What? I don't understand what I just read. Whoa! Oh, another adorable chapter again. And your art technique is quite good, Smurfing Hand. Keep on always smurfing. Thanks, Squeaky. I've appreciated everyone else who's commented as well. As long as I know my fellow Smurf fans are enjoying this little project of mine, I'll be inclined to put more effort into it. I seem to be on a roll, and it certainly has been fun. There's no telling when this streak may end, so I'm taking full advantage of it. I have a vague idea of the story's conclusion in mind, where certain wondrous revelations are made, but that should still be a while off. Wow, so he knows where it's going. It's not just making this up. He knows what he's doing. He knows where. Whoa, what the? Blueberry pie! Oh, Blueberry. I gone for only a minute before returning to the kitchen to spray the whipped cream atop a cream pie I'd made to take to my compatriots at the Blue Moon Nursery. As I picked it up to place into the refrigerator, a strange thought struck me. It was awfully quiet. Where was Blueberry? Then I remembered I'd absent-mindedly taken him out of my shirt pocket and set him on the counter. Besides the pie! I suddenly heard a fit of coughing as a tiny blue head popped through the surface of the whipped cream. The baby Smurf's bewildered expression made me laugh with relief. Oh, that was a close call, I exclaimed. I wasn't intending to make a blueberry pie. Oh man. Oh man. Now you have a lovely and delicious creamy blueberry. Creamy blueberry. Keep on always smurfing. Thank you, Squeaky Smurf. A soft and squishy blueberry. Some more art of his real finger. Is touching the diaper, which I'm assuming is filled with shit. Probably. Let's find out. In a soft and squishy blueberry. One rainy afternoon, as I watched Blueberry sitting and babbling unintelligibly, fucking idiot, on the living room floor, I decided to check his diaper before getting ready to wash a load of laundry. My lady friend had just returned the wee baby Smurf after taking her turn to babysit him while I ran some out-of-town errands. Upon touching the diaper to feel for wetness, I took the liberty of giving his tail a customary squeeze as well, of course. But once simply wasn't enough this time. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Upon touching the diaper to feel for wetness, I took the liberty of giving his tail a customary squeeze as well, of course. But once simply wasn't enough this time. I exclaimed, "Pardon me, Blueberry. Oh, but the way... Pardon me, Blueberry, but the way you look sitting there right now, prattling your little Smurf baby talk, is just too irresistible." Blueberry stared over his shoulder at me in bewilderment as I commenced to repeatedly mash down on his on his plump little blue tail and diapered rump, pinning it to the floor and driving tiny squeaks from the little creature as if he was some pet's rubber squeeze toy. The little blue creature's blue tail flattened like a pancake under the pressure. The little blue creature's blue tail flattened like a pancake under the pressure of my index finger, but as soon as I released it, the resilient appendage and equally soft and pliable rear end would spring right back into their original shape. "You're 10 times better than a whole package of charming bathroom tissue," I proclaimed in conclusion. At that moment, I half expected Mr. Whipple to walk into the room and say, "Don't squeeze the baby Smurf," in admonishment. Don't know who Mr. Whipple is. Blueberry blinked up at me with a rather puzzled look on his face, making me laugh. So he's scared, but Blueberry's scared of him. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just being molested, basically. and this guy's laughing. This guy's laughing at him. He's evil, man. This guy's evil. This guy's crazy. This guy. Just get him away. Get him away from these Smurfs, please. Someone. Blue Moon Nursery. Well, I don't really trust the Nursery, to be fair. You managed to give your Blueberry a delightful softness, Smurf in hand. I don't know. I enjoyed the increasingly close moments in the story. The Smurfs seem all the more real to me when it's some simple movement. I think the baby Smurf's tiny bodies are irresistibly squishable, and I've probably written in every single chapter of my story somewhere trying to demonstrate that, particularly those with I don't know, man. I don't know. I woke up at the screech of a smoke detector. Flicking the light on, I tried to ascertain the origin of the fire, but it was soon apparent that there was none. Oh, the low battery warning had triggered the alarm. After shutting off the smoke detector, I found Blueberry rolled into a little blue ball on the floor, gripping his pyjama-clad feet tightly, with his tiny face buried between his legs and trembling. Sorry, this guy just doesn't really use commas or like full stops. These sentences are hard to understand sometimes, so sorry if I get things wrong. I could see his little round blue tail, of course, poking through the seat of his PJs. I tried to pry the terror-stricken little creature's hands away from his feet and unroll him, but he started shrieking so hysterically that I stopped. Perplexed, I watched the baby Smurf in the throes of debilitating fear. Every time I tried to touch him, he'd flinch and cry out. Blueberry remained in that state for nearly an hour before he finally had the courage to lift his head. I ventured to pick him up at this point and encountered no resistance. He's learned. Don't even try to stop me. Placing him into his sleeping sock, I watched over him as slumber finally overtook the poor exhausted little thing. Apparently, the human world, no matter how much I tried to make accommodations, was at times too much for the wee blue infant. For the first time, I started to wonder if perhaps baby Blueberry Smurf would be better off elsewhere. I think so. Oh jeez. He's crying, he's scared. It's genuine fear. Genuine fear. Take heart. For those of you who have come to truly care about little Blueberry and are sensitive to his trials as to his joys, the eventual conclusion of my story will be all the more rewarding. So yeah, it seems like it's gonna go through some stuff, but it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be good in the end. I hope. I hope Blueberry has a good ending. I think this might be a good place to stop. It's the beginning of a new thing, a new part 1 of Tazza meets Dewdrop and Blueberry. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this, if you want to see more. Hopefully I will actually do some more soon. I don't know why, I've just been in the mood today for the first time in like 2.5 years. I was just like, let's read about the Smurfs. let's read Blue Moon Nursery. So I mean, I guess we can read this little paragraph here. At last I'll explain the ecology of the Smurfs in my alternate world. Squeaky Smurf, in part 2 of this chapter, Tazza will actually meet, talk to, and handle Dewdrop. Awesome. I don't know who Tazza is, but cool. Oh, Dewdrop and Blueberry. Cool. This gives me more time to study how to draw Raven's character. Ravenchild. Okay. I had to use some of your drawing to trace since I'm not really that proficient at drawing. And it would take too long to develop a likeness entirely on my own. I think that's wrong. I think you're good at drawing, pretty good at Smurf drawing. Better than me, but good Smurfs. I love Blueberry. I hope nothing bad happens to him. But yeah, sorry for taking so long. Sorry for rambling. Sorry I have a cold kind of thing at the moment. Probably sorry for that. Sorry for being British if you can't really understand me. I can't really help it. But yeah, hopefully someone can send me like a working link to the page or something, so I don't have to keep going through this guy's video, because it's kind of annoying for me and kind of just feels wrong somehow. But yeah, see you next time. Bye.